ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तस्यमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो रमणाय गुरवे सच्चिदानन्दमूर्तये निष्प्रपञ्चाय शान्ताय निरालम्भाय तेजसे नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दं गुरुब्रह्मा नमामि। नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय। My prostrations to Bhagwan for giving me this opportunity to speak about his life. I thank Mr. Shivaram for his kind words. Obviously, I am the youngest in the Ramana family, so if I do make some mistakes, do forgive me. I prostrate to the indwelling Bhagwan in each of you. So I have been given the task of speaking about Bhagwan and how he has, what are his teachings which have influenced my life and how it's made a difference to me. One thing about Bhagwan which impressed me the most was he was always in fullness. There was never a lacking of anything. He was always full. And when I think of the Isha Upanishad, where you say, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So, everything is full. And if you remove anything from the full, it's also full. It's like the ocean. If you remove water from the ocean, it's still the ocean. It's like finding a corner in a circle. You can go round and round and round and not find the corner because it's whole and complete. But as individuals, we're all that Atma Swarupa. We have God who is within each one of us. But somewhere down the line, we have lost contact with Him and we get stuck with this body. What is the reason that we get stuck with this body? We get stuck with this body because of the mind. And what is the mind? Mind is nothing else but thoughts. And why do thoughts come? Thoughts come through the senses. Our senses which are there, the eyes, nose, mouth, ears, feel, touch and feel. We actually have thoughts coming in. And what do these thoughts do? They influence us. 70% of the perception comes through the eyes. And if you actually close your eyes, 70% of your thoughts will actually die down. So, I will talk about a small story of Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara was actually was moving around with his disciples, and he found a man who was taking a cow and walking around. So Adi Shankara wanted to teach this man a lesson. So he asked all his devotees and all his disciples to go around this man and the cow. And he asked his disciple, who is the master? Who is bound to whom? Is the cow bound to the master? Or the master is bound to the cow? Everybody said, of course, the cow is bound to the master. Why? Because the master has got a rope tied to the cow, and the cow will follow wherever the master goes. So, Adi Shankara, what he did, he took the scissors out of his pocket and cut the rope. What happened? The cow ran away. The cow ran away. And then what happened? The man started running behind the cow. Then Adi Shankara laughed and said, who is the master? So he said, the thoughts are also like that. The cow does not want to be with the master. Similarly, the thoughts don't want to be with you, but you want to be with the thoughts, and you hold on to the thoughts and you become unhappy. So this is the bane of the society. This is the reason why people are unhappy, is because of thoughts. And the more and more you realize, you follow the thoughts, thoughts give you what? They give you desires. I want this, I want that. And when you get that, what happens? You're still unhappy. You say, when 2013 comes, I will be happy man. I will buy a car and I'll be happy. 2013 comes, you buy a car, but you're still unhappy. Why is it unhappy? Because happiness does not lie with the car. Happiness lies where? Happiness actually lies within you. When you're unwell, what do you want to become? You want to become well. Why do you want to become well? Because your natural state is happiness, is wellness. So more and more, it's important to understand that happiness is not outside, but happiness is within you. Somebody sent me an SMS a couple of weeks earlier, and he said that Gautam Buddha, actually left his palace for peace. But what do? We seek the palace and forget the peace. It was so very, very appropriate when it opened my eyes and said that we are all the time seeking something outside when everything is within. Why is it that we seek something outside? Because there is a sense of incompleteness, there is a sense of wanting, there is a sense of I am different from something else. Why is that? Because I look at myself as a subject and I look at everything else as an object. If I look at myself as a subject and I look at everything else as an object, that means I want to get things from something else. If somebody has got a beautiful watch, I want to be able to own the same watch. But Bhagavan says that the external things don't actually give you any happiness. So, as much as you want to be the subject, everybody else also wants to be the subject. You look at yourself as the center of the universe, everybody else also equally looks at themselves as the center of the universe. So, the basic aspect of life is that we are all seeking happiness. If we are seeking happiness, we actually go through life possessing so many things, and then we feel unhappy. And then we come to Bhagavan, where he says, Sankat Bandre Venkata Brahmana. Right? Everybody comes to Ramana and says, okay, Bhagavan, I've gone everywhere, done everything, I've got enough of wealth, I've got enough of a big family, I've got everything, but still I'm unhappy. You've got to help me. So people in that state come to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan is sitting quiet. There was a joke where one of the devotees, that he came to Bhagavan's Sannidhi, and in front of Bhagavan there were a lot of people sitting, Bhagavan was sitting quiet and everybody was sitting quiet, and he asked one of the Bhagavan, why are you sitting quiet and everybody is sitting quiet and nothing is happening? Then Bhagavan said, you please ask all of them, why are they sitting quiet in front of me? I don't know. Because one of the greatest teachings of Bhagavan was silence, was mauna. We keep on talking, like I am doing right now. We keep on talking. And we believe that everybody is listening. But when you are in the self, like somebody says, my friend is not feeling well, he or she is in the hospital, how do I pray for her? do I actually take some flowers to the hospital, or do I say the Mahamrityunjaya mantra? What do I do? But if you actually read through Bhagwan's teachings, if you abide in the self is the only truth. Everything else is anitya. The only truth amongst all of us who are here is the presence of Bhagwan, who's Antaryami, who's the actual tattva which is in each one of us. Another great aspect that I learned in Bhagwan's Sannidhi is the aspect of being in the now. When you're in the now, then you don't carry any baggage of the past, nor there's any anxiety of the future. The only moment of truth, as we see right now, is now. Like jokingly, there was a Swamiji who was invited for a program 1 month later, and he was saying, the person who was inviting him, he told him that you're making two major blunders. One is, you're presuming that you're going to be there, and secondly, you're presuming I'm going to be there. Bhagavan demonstrated the four margas very, very clearly on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, I have, with my limited amount of reading and about the stories that I've read about Bhagavan, he demonstrated the simplest but most important aspects of the margas. I think the karma marga were something which each one of us, being the grahasti, have to actually go through, where you have to do work. You get up in the morning, you have a purpose for the day, you go through the day with doing some work. And Ramana himself used to get up early in the morning, go to the kitchen and cut vegetables and help in whatever the ashram needed. So Bhagavan's one great teaching was, it is important to be stationed within your Atma Swarupa as well, but your hands and legs must be doing work. When you do work, obviously the important thing is not to expect anything in return. When you expect something in return, then you are doing it for a particular reason. You're doing for some reason. So the important thing about karma marga is nishkama karma, doing work without any expectations. When you do something without any expectations, then you are offering it as a prayer to God. Because you're doing it for another person, another human being who is also Atma Swarupa. The Jnana Marga, obviously, Bhagwan's teaching of going inwards and realizing the presence of God within, was the most significant teaching of Bhagwan. Most people would come to him and say, that I am unhappy, my thoughts are taking me all over. Today this is bothering me, this thought is bothering me, tomorrow that thought is bothering me. And every day I'm getting bombarded by thoughts and there's no peace of mind. All of us go through that. Either we are in the past because we have done something wrong and we believe that was wrong, or we are in the future anxious of something that is going to happen. So Ramana's method was very, very direct. And that was the Jnana Marga of really going to the source of anything. I remember when I was young, when my father used to say, when you get angry, you count 10, 1, 2, 3, and normally your anger goes off. What is it actually happening? You are actually going to the source of the anger and say, oh, the anger is coming from here, I'm going to go and check out on that anger, and that anger vanishes. So if you actually go to the source of the thought, what happens? There are no thoughts. I can talk for myself. When we look at our lives, we realize that all of us have ailments and we take allopathy medicines, right? Allopathy medicines, what does it do? It actually only deals with the symptoms. It doesn't go to the root of the problem. That's why what we do, we take Ayurvedic, we take homeopathy, we take some other things which goes to the root of the problem. When you go to the root of the problem, the ailment vanishes. Similarly, if you go to the root of the thoughts vanish. And this has been proved. If you look at the 3 states that we are in on a daily basis, the deep sleep, the waking state, as well as the deep sleep, waking state, and the dream state, then you will realize that in the deep sleep state, you are not there. The world is not there, but by the grace of Bhagavan, you are breathing so that your family doesn't think you are dead. So if you actually go inwards to the source of the thoughts which have been actually coming very, very fast, suddenly this frequency of those thoughts starts reducing. The thoughts will be there, will be reducing, and at one point the thoughts will become quiet. So Ramana Maharshi suggested, it's called Atma Vichara. Atma means within, because we are all Atma Swarupa. He said, do Atma Vichara, and you got to know who you really are. When you look at your body and look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? You see a bag full of flesh and bones. Right? But there is something which is actually running this body. Your heart is beating, you're breathing continuously. Who is that person who is actually sitting inside? Who is that director inside? Who is making all these things happen? Like I'm sitting right now here and I'm talking. Who's making me talk? If I keep my vocal cords outside on the table, will it speak by itself? It just can't speak. There is something inside each one of us which makes things happen. You have to really go to the source of that. So what we will do, all great sages have always believed that practice is very, very important. So Ramana had a 3-level three-stage approach to Atma Vichara. So he says, first, whenever a thought comes, you can watch your thoughts, close your eyes. When you watch your thoughts, the thought comes. Catch the thought and ask, for whom is this thought? Very simple. Catch your thought and ask, for whom is this thought? The answer is, for me. Then ask, who am I? When you actually close and ask, who am I? For a fraction of a second between two thoughts, there will be silence. Fraction of a second between two thoughts, there will be silence. The trick is to increase the duration of the silence and to reduce the duration of the thoughts. A point will come when there will be actually no thoughts. It will all be quietness inside. When you are in a no mind situation, like your deep sleep, what happens? When you are in deep sleep, the world does not exist and you also don't exist. So in a no mind situation also, that's what will happen. So what we will do in the next 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes, we will do some Atma Vichara here. Okay? So I request all of you to we will all do the Atma Vichara because I think it's important. We can hear a lot of theory, but practice, I believe, is more important than the theory. So what we're going to do is all of you are going to sit comfortably and close your eyes. And what we're going to do is initially take a couple of deep, long breaths. And watch the prana going into your through your nostrils and filling up your lungs and coming out. What we're going to do, all of us together, we're going to watch that thought which comes from within. Here comes one thought. It's the thought. Let's ask, for whom is this thought? Answer is for me. Who am I? Keep focusing on your nostrils. Take the prana in. Initially, this will mean nothing. This who am I process may mean just words. But the important factor is this: a drop and drop makes a pitcher full. So you have to be persistent. You have to persist in this method of Atma Vichara. So here comes another thought. Catch the thought and ask, for whom is this thought? Answer is, for me. And ask, who am I? Probably the second time, you may have felt a sense of silence within. Again, the next thought comes. Again, you ask, for whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? And there's silence for some time. Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Another thought comes. For whom is this thought? Who am I? So as we actually did this exercise, a few minutes that we did this exercise, we realized that initially our thoughts were controlling us. We were going all over the place. Our thoughts were not at one point. Like all of us go to the temple. I'm not sure how many of you have analyzed. When you go into a temple, what happens? The temple bells are ringing, right? Temple bells are ringing, so your ears are all listening to the temple bells. Agarbatti is put. Why is agarbatti put? So that your smell, you get only one smell. There's God in front, so there's ekagrata on God. You have folded your hands, so your hand is also not. And when your mouth, you're chanting something. So what is happening? There is an ekagrata, there is a focus on Bhagwan. So that focus, when you actually do the Atma Vichara, that focus goes within. Every morning, if you get up in the morning, after your morning activities, if you do Atma Vichara for 10-15 minutes, you will suddenly realize that what happens? That we were all, so many of us here, we were 30-40 of us here, and all of us could hear the fans. There was pin drop silence. When I'm sitting here, I do not believe that there was anybody in this room till I opened my eyes. So when you actually go inwards, it actually nullifies it. You become what's called antarmukha. You start going inwards. When you start going inwards, you actually come to a point where you carry your own climate. That means anything, there could be any condition outside, there could be rain, sunshine, anything, there could be riots outside, but you could be in that situation absolutely at peace within yourself. So, as you practice more and more the Atma Vichara, which is the only reason for living. In the Garbha Upanishad, I have a few more minutes, I'll take 5 more minutes. In the Garbha Upanishad, in the 9th month, before you are born, you give a promise to Bhagavan saying that when I am born, I will only pray to you. Because in the 9th month, in the mother's womb, you can actually see 1000 of your previous lives. So you actually want to come out of that situation because it's dark and dingy. At that point, you actually tell Bhagavan, get me out of this, and I promise you that when I'm out, I will only pray to you and I will think of only of you. But what happens? When we come out, Maya catches on. The world takes us on. And then what happens? We forget our initial promise that we made to Bhagavan. So it's important that we get back to the source which is within each one of us. The last thought I want to leave which I think made a huge difference to me personally was what Bhagavan told Argamal, that I'll just read it. The ordainer controls the fate of souls in accordance with their past deeds, their prarabdha karma. Whatever is destined to not to happen will not happen. Because Bhagavan words, that's why I thought I should read it. Whatever is destined not to happen will not happen. Try how hard you may. Whatever is destined to happen will happen. Do what you may to stop it. This is a very, very, very important aspect. This is certain. The best course, therefore, is for one to be resigned. Or what Bhagavan says, be mauna, chumaira. When you are when you do Atma Vichara, when you feel the silence within yourself, and when you are in peace with yourself, there is only peace outside. And when there is peace inside, there is goodness, there's love, there's compassion, there's everything nice, and then you will give only what you have. If you have compassion, if you have love, you're going to give only love, compassion to everybody else. So actually I've come to the end of my time slot. This is an absolutely great opportunity for me to be able to share some of my views. I had put down some other thoughts, but I think I've come to my end of my time. I thank each one of you for your patient hearing, and I thank God for this opportunity. Yasyomi matam bhuvanam samastam guhahitam tam ramanam gaviram chinta vihinam hrid chintayami. Om namo bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Om namo bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Om namo bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.